Welcome back. This is the 74th segment of Making Sense for 7 minutes, and it is the fourth segment out of 25, where we are, Monday through Friday, taking a hard look at evil and suffering. Now, every person has a belief system, a worldview, if you will. Now, they have some conclusions, some ideas, some convictions about how they think the universe operates and what their role in it is. Now, not many people could actually articulate comprehensively and cohesively what their worldview is, because most people, quite frankly, I don't think, have taken the time to sit down and look at it and examine it and ask questions and really zero in on the details of their worldview. But everybody has one. And it is out of their worldview, out of this belief system, that they think as they do and they do as they do. Now, it can be said, because I'm getting ready to say it, that a person's belief system could be illustrated much like this pyramid here, or Christmas tree. It's a pyramid, okay? Just leave it alone. Now, I have come to the conclusion that certain things are foundationally true. And as a result of these convictions, I have come to the conclusions that, therefore, these things must be the way they are, and based on that, these things must be true, and it must be this way, etc., etc. Now, if you were to ask me, Johnny, why do you believe this right here? I would have to say, let's go to lunch. And let me sit down and take you through the process and back up through the deliberations that I have made based upon these previous conclusions to get to where I am. Now, if I were to discover that one of these conclusions was absolutely not true, I would then have to work my way back down and rearrange, recalibrate, reevaluate these more basic foundational conclusions. By the same token, if I were to be persuaded that some of these foundational conclusions were false, then I would need to work my way back through and reconstruct my belief system accordingly. So, if you were to ask me, Johnny, why is it that you maintain, out of the undeniable reality of evil and suffering in our world, how is it that you're able to maintain that there is a God who is all-loving and all-powerful? And were you to ask me that, I would say, let's go to lunch. Because the fact of the matter is that over the years, I have become increasingly convinced that the only intellectually tenable worldview is the biblical worldview. Now, it seems to me that the philosophical evidence leads inevitably to the conclusion that there is a God. He is good and loving. And that the historical evidence indicates, for me, with beyond a reasonable doubt, that this good God has entered into history and has in fact addressed and dealt with victoriously the problem of evil and suffering. And then the evidence that I have experienced personally and continue to experience in my life, in my relationship with Jesus, has convinced me that this good, loving God, through Jesus and my relationship with him, will actually take the evil and the suffering that I encounter, and he will lovingly use it for his good purposes in my life. Now, having said that, I then have established a worldview which causes me to maintain that, yes, indeed, there is a God. He's loving. He's all loving. He's all powerful. And it is from that that I will continue to maintain that even in the face of evil, those affirmations are true. And then I can also make defenses and give reasonable explanations as to why perhaps and most likely he is allowing evil and suffering to continue. So that's where we're going with some more segments. Thanks, y'all.